This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. Yes, we are delighted that you're with us. And we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call in, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And there's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. Trevor's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. I'm Vincent Finelli. Craig Douglas is with us. Welcome, Craig Douglas.
Hello, Vincent.
So, Craig, where are you?
Presently, I am in Michigan.
Okay. All right. You've been traveling from the East Coast to Michigan over the last couple of days, and you know this brings up a really good point. We're going to be talking about food today. We're going to be talking about long-term storage food. We're going to be talking about the different, not just freeze-dried type food. We're going to be talking about all kinds of food and food preparations for your survival. We're going to be talking about value. We're going to be talking about cans of food. We're going to be talking about boxed food. We're going to be talking about growing your own. We're going to talk about meals ready to eat, all of it. And the reason is you need to consider all types of food storage for your survival. Now, as we go through this class, I'll probably even share with you what we've done for our long-term storage foods and survival. Craig Douglas is an expert in survival. He travels around the country, and he's had television broadcasts. He's been on the radio many times with us, and he's been to almost all of our Get Prepared Expos. He's taught seminars, and one of the things that you know about Craig Douglas is he is our radiation instructor. You'll see him at the Get Prepared Expo with his exhibit of civil defense era radiation detection equipment and also other more modern radiation detection equipment. And he's going to be talking today with us about food storage. Craig, when people think about food, they think about, well, a lot of us, the 99%, think about going shopping if they need something. And I even got a call 2 days ago. A storm was coming our way here in Missouri, and I got a call from one of our friends, and I said, "So where are you?" He said, "Oh, we're going shopping. We're going to get some stuff that we need because snow's coming." That happens. So that's why I think you should have what you need before you need it. So let's talk about food storage.
All right. Well, what I want to discuss today is basically a broad brush of all the topics, sorting through all the storage choices because there are a lot of different methods. In fact, I have 6 of them that I've written down here with a possible 7th for people to consider. And any one might not be right for everybody. And so you have to pick and choose which is the best for you and your family depending on the conditions you have. Now, before I get into that, though, I want to mention that even though people think of food as being like the most important thing, it really isn't. You really have to have a good way to make clean water to drink. That would be like number one. You're going to need water a lot sooner than you're going to need food. And maybe in the weather's like we're having right now in much of the country, shelter might even come first. You might die after 6 or 7 days without water, but you might die within a day without shelter. So water and shelter are probably the most important things to consider even before you get to the food. So if you haven't started at all, you probably ought to start on those things. So that being said, I have 6 things written down here we'll go over that I'll talk about. I'm going to just tell you the main topic first, and I'll go in order. Growing your own. The next topic is hunting, gathering, fishing. Next topic is buying things from the grocery store. Next one is bulk grains. Next one is freeze-dried foods. And the next one is MREs. Now, the seventh one, which I'll go ahead and discuss right now, which I don't really consider a valid prepping method, but I hear it quite often, more often than you would expect. And it's basically one form of food prepping that many admit to being their main method of obtaining food will be predatory. Now, this is definitely not moral, and it is certainly very dangerous, but I'm just bringing that up because this is one method that some people have chosen to use as their food preparation method, and obviously that creates problems for all of us who have prep because they're after your food. So you need to keep that in consideration, and the best way to prep against that type of person is probably security, firearms if you need to, whatever. But that is a very immoral and very dangerous method that needs to be mentioned, but it's not a proper method of food storage choices.
Craig, let me just put an exclamation point on that. I know a guy who is a broadcaster. He is not associated with USA Prepares in any way, shape, or form, nor would he be allowed to be associated with us. He's a former cop. And I heard him say, quote, I don't need no food storage. I don't need no preparations. I got me a gun. There you go. This guy's on the radio. This guy's a former cop. And that is his position with preparation. He doesn't need any. He's got him a gun. So, Craig, you talked about it. You talked about it. I know a guy who said it right in front of me, a former cop. So,
I hear it quite often at the gun shows, too. So he's not the only one. I hear it quite often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this guy this guy sells his stuff at gun shows. He does. He really does. I've seen him. I've seen him for years, and that is his position.
Well, hopefully those people, if it gets bad enough where people like that resort to that, maybe they can be eliminated or neutralized before they cause too much damage. Mm-hmm. But it's obviously a topic that's very sensitive.
It is, and it's absolutely true. So you've seen it, I've seen it, so we are firsthand witnesses of seeing this kind of discussion. And it's probably a little more common than we would like to believe. Well, so let's cross that off. We're not going to do that, but we do need to protect ourselves from those who have no morals.
Right, and you know what, Vincent, that people who don't prepare at all and who don't even have that mindset of being a predator may have to resort to that just to survive because, frankly, they didn't prepare for anything. So by necessity, some others, maybe, millions, may have to resort to that anyway. But
Craig, I've told people who are new to USA Prepares privately on the phone. They'll say, "Why do you do this? Why do you broadcast? Why do your instructors do what they do?" And I said, it's kind of simple. It's so they take that young family and they have a young child, very young, and the grid goes down and the child's hungry and she says to him, "Don't you hear her crying? She's hungry. Do something." So he goes out and he's walking down the city street and the traffic lights are out. The grid's down. There's no electricity. There's no one in the stores because they can't sell anything because everything is computerized and the checkouts are computerized. So there's a crowd standing around the door of the big store. Somebody throws a brick through the window. They climb in and they get what they need. Now, the point is he going to come back without something for his child because his child is hungry and crying and mom is blaming him because they don't have any food? So it's his fault. He's not going to let that happen. So he's going to take what he needs because he needs it. There's going to be more blood in the street. There's going to be more broken glass, and that's why we do what we do. We want less broken glass, less blood in the street. Get what you need before you need it. That's what preparedness is all about. And you just told that story.
Yeah, and let me skip now to the second one that I had mentioned, and I'll go back to the first. And one more moral method, of course, if you don't have any preparation, would be hunting, gathering, and fishing. So people who have some type of knowledge of how to hunt or fish or find the right types of foods in nature can fare in the short term better than most who are the ones that or have to resort to robbing grocery stores or robbing other people for food. Hunting, gathering, fishing can be, of course, inexpensive. It's very hard to store, so you can't really store it. If you caught a fish, you really can't store it that easily. So you have to pretty much consume as you gather. Now, it has a wide range of shelf life depending on what it is and the method you decide to use to store it. And of course, you're going to need some sort of skill and knowledge in order to do this. If you're hunting, you're going to need to know how to skin and prepare the meat. And storing it is not going to be that easy unless you have some modern conveniences at your availability, which isn't very likely. It can be very labor intensive also. And so you need some sort of, if you don't have that knowledge, you'll need to get a few books together beforehand so you can obtain the knowledge as you go if you really have to. But one thing about hunting, gathering, and fishing that a lot of people, because I hear that a lot of people say, oh, well, I got a gun, I can go out and find game, I live, near a state park or whatever. I hear that all the time as well. But one thing people don't think about with that method, that based on history, actually, if you look back during the Civil War, and look historically, find out a lot of things that were going on, we'll find a lot of the war zones that were so devastated of food and property and destruction that there was actually a wild game was actually getting quite rare because so many people were trying to resort to hunting or fishing and gathering. So right now, in peaceful times, that could be fairly easily done. But when you have competition from thousands or maybe millions of other humans, then the whole ball game changes. Could change. And in the Civil War, the people were actually resorting to tearing down fence lines for firewood. Deer and other populations of wild game were disappearing. And that could happen.
Hold that thought, Craig. We're going into a break. We'll be right back. So just who will you meet at the Get Prepared Expo? For starters, John Moore, John Stadtmiller, Sam Bushman, Kurt Crosby, Aaron Dakins, Brad Dakins, and me, Vincent Finelli. Joining us, just to name a few, are the senior instructors, medical doctor Norman Shealy, engineer Matt Stein, the real Fox Mulder of the X-Files, physicist Dr. Richard Allen Miller, author Captain John Regan, counterterrorist Mike Ma, author Rich Sheben, and the CSPOA founder, Sheriff Richard Mack. You'll learn how water wells work, how to buy gold and silver quietly, discreetly, and privately. Learn the importance of good health and how to care for your loved ones. Learn alternative medicines, overcoming anxiety, stress, high blood pressure, and alternative cancer treatments. You'll have access to more doctors, more authors, more talk show hosts than any event we know of. The Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. GetPreparedExpo.com. That's GetPreparedExpo.com.
Hi, this is Steve Spillum for Midas Resources. In 1971, President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard and put us into a fiat currency. This allowed Congress and the Federal Reserve to create trillions of dollars out of thin air. The national debt has risen to incredible heights, and your hard-earned dollars by a small fraction of what they once did. The average life expectancy for a fiat currency is 27 years. The dollar is failing and on borrowed time. When currencies fall, people turn to gold and silver because gold and silver have been real money for more than 5,000 years. It is our mission at Midas Resources to help you preserve your capital. Don't let your personal savings shrink to nothing. For important free information on how you can protect your personal wealth, contact me, Steve Spillum, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 308. Call today while we are still accepting dollars for gold and silver. 1-800-686-2237, extension 308. Make a change in your financial security today. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 308.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, There's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Craig Douglas is with us, and we're talking about food, and we're talking about hunting. Craig, in the early 1900s, right here in Missouri, deer were almost nearly depleted. Some people believe that there are only about 400 or 500 left at that time in the state. Today, about 200,000 deer are killed for food, hunted. We can call it harvested annually here in Missouri. 200,000, more than 200,000. And you mentioned hunting for food. Absolutely, it's a method that's been time tested. However, let's put an exclamation point on what you just said. How many people do you know who are hunters look forward to the very first day of hunting season? The first day. Why is there so much importance on the first day? Because that's when the deer are plentiful. By the end of the first day, there are hardly any left. Think about that. So this is in a regulated environment. What's going to happen? What's going to happen when the grid goes down? When the economy collapses and regulation ceases to exist? And it's every man for himself. How many deer, rabbits, squirrel, birds do you think there are going to be? That's exactly the point. So, Craig, you are spot on. And on our farm, 8 years ago, there were plenty of deer. Now we hardly see any. Seriously. And I believe it's because of the economy.
Like you said. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I believe it's, partially because of the economy, and some of these farmers are hunting deer because they have to.
Right. And then going back to your example from around 1900, how many people were there actually there at the time in Missouri, and versus how many are there today?
Right.
I don't think nature can withstand our populations, certainly probably not anywhere east of the Mississippi. I just think there's just too many people to sustain the hunting, gathering, fishing model like, say, the Indians used to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that leaves us to other methods of preparing. So, yeah, hunting will probably work. And, if I had to, I'm sure on a couple hundred acres I could find a couple squirrels. But if I had to go find a squirrel right this second for lunch, I don't think I could do it on a couple hundred acres. Seriously. If I went out with a 22, I'd be hard-pressed to bring home lunch. If I left the microphone right now and went out hunting.
Well, one thing you could do with your land is you could actually grow your own food as well. And that's another topic we'd like to cover.
Let's do that.
Basically, and on all these topics that I'm covering here right now, at the expo, Get Prepared Expo, there's going to be a specialty class on every single one of them, I would imagine. I mean, there's so many instructors there that the activity of growing your own or gardening is going to be covered by many people. So I'm just going to gloss over it here. But it's, as your food storage method, it is certainly one of the least expensive and the most nutritious. But it has a wide range of shelf life depending on the storage method that you're using. You could go anywhere from dried or eating raw to freeze-dried. There's a lot of different ways you can go there. So it has a wide range of shelf life. It has a long lead time, of course. If you aren't prepared and you decide you're going to start planting some seeds in the ground, That's not a good prepping plan. However, if you can't grow your own, at least have seeds, tools, and knowledge available if the disaster becomes a long-term or perpetual disaster. And in the form of gardening, growing your own, it can also be the most labor-intensive, but also can be very rewarding. For those people who like to garden, you'll know exactly what I mean. So growing your own is certainly an option that we probably should all be doing, but because of time constraints with our busy lives and such, it's not an option that most people can actually do. If you don't have enough gardening space to even grow a small garden or have the time to deal with it, then it's not something that's going to be very easy for a lot of people to do. And growing your own still presents a potential hazardous situation with the before mentioned predators. When your food becomes almost harvest time, and all of a sudden you wake up and one day it's all gone. It's not ready to be harvested.
We're going to a bottom of the hour break. We're talking about food, and we're going to talk about the other methods. Cans, boxes, buckets, beans, freeze-dried, and MREs when we come back. Craig Douglas. What's so special about the Get Prepared Expo? Imagine having the opportunity to learn from some of the best preparedness and survival instructors available today. The faculty of USAPrepares.com. Imagine meeting your radio instructors all in one place. The last weekend in March. Imagine having lunch or dinner at a table with your instructors. And the cost? $10.80. Imagine having your favorite instructors autographing and personalizing your new books. Imagine buying Berkey water filters at deep discounts, the lowest price in the country. Imagine buying freeze-dried, long-term storage food at the lowest price in the country. You don't have to imagine. This is real. It's at the Get Prepared Expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo there is, March 27, 28, and 29 in Lebanon, Missouri. One-day tickets are $8 on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. getpreparedexpo.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today. Class, Craig Douglas is with us, and he's going to teach a few seminars on food storage, survival food at the Get Prepared Expo. He's going to teach you how to save money. And by the way, Craig Douglas is going to have a large exhibit at the Expo, and it will be a food exhibit as well as a radiation detection equipment exhibit. He will be offering the lowest priced long-term storage food in the country for Mountain House Foods at the Get Prepared Expo. There will be no lower price than what is offered by Craig Douglas at the Get Prepared Expo. The biggest discount in the country. Craig, am I exaggerating? Did we lose Craig?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll have the lowest price on Mountain House freeze-dried food in the country. Not an exaggeration. And also, I don't know how much the discount will be there, but we'll also have discount on the Wise brand as well. I don't know how big of cuts those will be yet. So certainly on the Mountain House, I can guarantee you'll have the lowest price in the country. You will not find any other low price, but it's only available to people who actually attend the expo.
Mm-hmm. So, class, if you want to buy the same type food that we have in our long-term storage food plan, the same kind that we carry in the trunks of our vehicles, the same kind that we have at the farm, you'll be able to buy it at the lowest price in the country at the Get Prepared Expo. No question about it. And also, you'll be able to buy Berkey water filters at the lowest price in the country. So, Craig, by the way, that's what we do. We make sure that you leave the expo with no regrets. That, geez, you could have gotten it at a lower price someplace else. We require that our exhibitors sell to our guests, USAPrepares.com guests and students and other instructors at the lowest price they offer anyone. So that's something that we require at the Get Prepared Expo. And Craig has gone way beyond that. Craig, please continue with your food storage plans.
All right, the next one that most people will be able to relate to the easiest and be able to start without much effort would be things from your grocery store. Now, grocery stores have a wide range of costs, a wide range of nutrition, a wide range of conveniences, and really the bottom line is you should really buy the things your family normally eats anyway and continue to eat it on a regular basis, and you need to rotate it. For instance, maybe green beans are on sale at your local grocery store, and see if you can inquire about buying a whole case when it's on sale. And then if there's something you normally eat, canned green beans, you put them on your shelf. Okay, keep doing that for all the food items you normally buy, and eventually you're going to have a very large pantry that can probably get you through months instead of just weeks. And as long as you continue to rotate it, in other words, use it or lose it. If you got to continue to use it, otherwise you let it sit too long. If you just put it on the shelf and forget about it, 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, all of a sudden you realize you're going to have a lot of cans that have to be thrown away, or it might not be any good anymore. So it's really something you got to do. Just have a larger pantry, essentially. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just buy it in greater quantities when it goes on sale. And so that's an easy way for anybody to start, because almost all of us get our food from our grocery store for the most part. The next category
Craig, just a very quick tip. We do that, and we have purchased cases and cases of food. You can buy 10 cases at a time, easily. And green beans at 39 cents a can, it's crazy not to do it. A little over $4 a case. Really, 12 cans, 39 cents a can. And with tax, get 10 cases. Seriously. And then baked beans. And what you want to do is keep them at a constant cool temperature. Not frozen, but if you've got an area in your basement that stays relatively constant cool temperature where there's not a lot of humidity to rust the cans, there you go. That's the plan, class. Buy what you like. And you can even get mixed vegetables. So please continue, Craig.
Okay. The next category I have here is bulk grains. Now, this is a very low-cost method. We're talking about things like wheat, rice, beans, even things like millet or barley or corn or all types of bulk grains that can be obtained by the sack, maybe a 25-pound sack or even 50-pound sack, for very, very low cost. It has a very long shelf life. It's easy to store in large quantities, but there are some things you need to be aware of for this method. Because eggs is one of the first things. You have to make sure you store it right to where the eggs immediately die off when they hatch. There's methods of that, and I can go over one of them here in a minute. But also, you got to remember, though, okay, now you have a handful of kidney beans. Okay, what do you do with that? It's something you can't really make into a meal that easily. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy to actually get it to where it's edible. So one of the disadvantages of the bulk grains is that in itself is not a meal. A handful of wheat is generally not really considered a meal. So you have to do a lot to make it into a meal. So it does take some knowledge and some preparation, even though it is the cheapest. One of the ways I would do, and the class of two people might consider this, I used to buy 50-pound sacks of wheat or whatever, bulk grains. I would get one of these 5-gallon water bottles, these blue plastic 5-gallon bottles you turn upside down and put on a water cooler, the ones. I would get one of those. I would put before I put any grain in there, I'm going to store them in there, in 5-gallon bulk grains, I would take if you're a welder, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, you can still go and get a nitrogen tank used for welding and set up a regulator on a hose and put the hose down inside the bottom of the jar of the big water jug. Then you pour your grains in there. You fill it up all the way to the top with your grains. Then turn on the nitrogen. Now, what's the nitrogen doing? The nitrogen is heavier in air, and it's going to go to the bottom of fill in all the cavities around your corn or wheat or whatever it is. And slowly it will drive all the oxygen, all the air out of the top of the bottle. And when all the air is out, an easy way to do that is just take a match. And take a match, and when the match no longer stays lit, when you stick it into the neck of the bottle, then you know all the air is out of it. If the match goes out immediately, then you know the air is out of it. Then you drop in a couple of oxygen absorbers, little packets you can buy, and then put the cap on it, and then wrap the cap. And there you have a way that now all the eggs will be dead when they hatch, and your food should last a very long time. In fact, I think it's been said they found edible wheat in the pyramids even.
Mm-hmm.
So
they have, Craig. Also, Craig, you and I have never discussed this. This is the first time that I'm hearing you talk about this. This is exactly the method that we use here. And I purchased a nitrogen bottle. It's about 4 feet tall many, many years ago with a regulator and a hose, and that is exactly the method that we use here at the farm. And the only difference is that we use the 5-gallon food-grade buckets with liners in them for that. But
yeah, that's another way. They have a special seal that you can use on those lids. The part I didn't like about that type of system is there's a lot more surface area of a gasket to have to worry about, and that's why I chose the water bottles.
Yeah, you're right on the money with the choice that you have. And by the way, I'm looking on eBay right now. If you want to use these 5-gallon buckets, you can buy them for $25 with $30 shipping. So roughly $5 a piece if you want to buy used, clean, food-grade buckets. Don't buy the ones that are used for paint and other things like that. Also, you can go to the Chinese factory outlet, and they get frosting in buckets, and maybe they will give you the buckets. And wash them out. Make sure you get the lids. So you can do this very inexpensively, and yes, you can buy grains and beans, as Craig is talking about. You can go to Sam's and buy bags of beans, 25 and 50 pounds. You can also do the same thing with rice. You're right on the money, Craig. Please continue.
Yeah, okay. The next one, and full disclosure here, I sell freeze-dried food, but we're just going to breeze over this one as well. Freeze-dried food, now, it's a very expensive way to go. It has a very long shelf life, usually between 12 and 25 years. But it's one of the most convenient, and it's also a very nutritious method. It's convenient because generally all you have to make instead of having a handful of rice, which you have to prepare, okay, with a freeze-dried, you basically just add water, and you have generally most of them you'll have a meal right there, just adding water and waiting for 10 minutes. If you have boiling water, it usually takes about 10 minutes. If you have cold water, it usually takes about 20 or 30 minutes. But in other words, you have something you could call a meal than just a handful of kidney beans. So it's very convenient, long storage life, but it's awfully expensive compared to some of the other methods we've already gone through. But it also, freeze-drying maintains the nutrition that a lot of other long-term methods don't, even more so than things you get in your grocery store. The next item I have here, and actually the last item I have on here, what should we talk about? And we'll have a whole booth of this at my in my booths. MREs. Now, while MREs, if you don't know those, that's a meal ready to eat. You generally hear them talked about in military terms or FEMA. It is probably the most expensive way to go, but it has a pretty long storage life. Generally, I get the question all the time, how long a storage life? Well, when the military has MREs, they put a inspection date of 3 years beyond their manufacture date. That does not mean they're no good after 3 years. That just means the military checks their stock, examines it, decides whether or not what they want to do with it. And when I get MRE straight from the factory, there's a 6-month quarantine where they actually hold the food for 6 months and test it before they actually release it to the public. So it has a long storage life. It's very portable, although it is a little heavier than some of them. There's a lot of packaging with those things to throw away. But it's not very nutritious. It's akin to eating fast food, really. It's usually pretty good tasting. Most people think it's pretty good tasting. Some people don't. But it's not very nutritious. But it is, out of all the methods we just talked about, probably the most convenient method, because you don't have to cook, you don't have to add water, you don't have to do anything. You just take it out of the package and eat it. I generally recommend people consume an MRE before 10 years. However, I have some right now that are 19 years old that I've been eating myself, and overall they seem fine. So it doesn't have quite a long shelf life as freeze-dried food, but it is another method that if you had a bug-out bag, you could just throw it in your bug-out bag, and you've got at least 1 or 2 meals on the road. It's not easy to carry a lot of them. They get quite heavy if you start trying to carry a lot of them. But in a pinch, it can be a life and death situation that could be easily avoided. Especially if you live in a big city, apartment building, something like that, high-rise building. It's probably the most convenient for people who live in situations like that.
We come back. Craig Douglas and I are going to talk some more about the food storage plants. The idea is make sure you have some. Think about it. Washington, D.C. is kind of shut down because of the snow. Trucks are having a tough time getting in and out. You have your food? Use this as a lesson. Some of you might be wondering, just what is the Get Prepared Expo? The Get Prepared Expo is designed to help everyone survive tornadoes, snowstorms, ice storms, earthquakes, and God forbid, a real terrorist attack. Are you ready? Have you thought through all the scenarios? At the Get Prepared Expo, you'll meet exhibitors who will help you prepare and survive and learn what you need. Included in your all-day passes are 1-hour seminars on water filtration, cooking and heating without electricity, wood, or any kind of fuel, the all-important survival garden, and growing food with heirloom seeds, radiation detection and radiation survival. There are over 60 seminars at the Get Prepared Expo. Think of it as a college preparedness degree in a weekend. Get Prepared Expos are taught by preparedness leaders, authors, medical doctors, and radio personalities. Bring your questions. We have the answers. We hope to see you the last weekend in March, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Katie Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to katiearmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Class, if you want to get a link to Craig Douglas's website, it's called theprepperstop.com. Theprepperstop.com. And there's a link on page 1 of the website, usaprepares.com. So if you go to usaprepares.com, you'll see a link, the Prepper Stop. You can click on that, it'll take you right to Craig Douglas's website. In case you're driving, listening to this, and you can't write your notes while you're driving, just go to usaprepares.com. Craig Douglas is under instructors, exhibitors, and on page 1. And he will have the lowest price on Mountain House foods in the country. You can buy it and take it with you. Okay? Remember Max's law. Buy the best, pay cash, take delivery. If you don't have delivery, you don't own it. So you can own it at the Get Prepared Expo. Craig, I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is, what do you think of the Get Prepared Expo? You've been to many of them. You've been to other expos. Can you contrast what you're going to learn at the Get Prepared Expo and what you think is good about it, what you'd like to change about it, and just feel free to say whatever you think about the Get Prepared Expo.
Well, I've done your expo since it started. I think you've done 6 now or 7?
Now, this is 6. We're up to number 7.
Number 7 now. Okay. I've done all 7 of your expos, and frankly, I do, as a vendor, I do like yours better than the other ones overall. For instance, this last weekend, there was one in Florida, which unfortunately, it sounded like a good event. There were speakers and everything, but unfortunately, as a vendor, they want to charge me $900 for a booth, and it kills it for me because I don't make enough to justify that. In fact, your expo, sometimes I haven't made anything or very little. Sometimes I've done well. And with the sale I'm running on the freeze-dried food this time, I'll be lucky if I get out of there, with very much at all, if anything. So, and I'm taking a big risk by doing what I'm doing. But, as far as your pricing for your actual vendors, this is something that I guess the public don't have to worry about, but it will gather more, a lot more vendors, and class instructors. One negative I think is about your expo a little bit, and it's really not a negative if you think about it for the customer. It's just there's too many classes. You'll have to attend several expos. Probably, I think if you're one person, you're going to have to attend probably 4 expos in order to go through all the classes. I guess that's about the way it would work. And you haven't had one in about a year, have you?
No, I haven't. And the other, I'll tell you why. The other expos ganged up on me, and they decided they were gonna put me out of business. So I said, okay, you guys want to shoot it out? Go ahead, shoot it out. I'll just step aside. You guys have your shootout. And now one of the expos who was in the shootout decided that he's only going to do a 1-day expo. We're doing a 3-day expo. So I guess he found out that it wasn't such a good idea to go on the attack. Another expo has fewer seminars. They all have fewer seminars than we do. And you're right, we have so many seminars, it's hard to pick which ones. And currently, if you want to go to every seminar we have, you'll have to bring 5 more people with you, and each one will have to go to a different seminar if you want to have attendance at all the seminars. And that really is a problem, and I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. We could have a small expo.
Yeah, you also have such good speakers there that, frankly, people that are a little bit smaller fry, so to speak, that are lined up against Joyce Riley or somebody, nobody attends the class. Everybody wants to see Joyce Rawley. They don't want to see me, or they want to see John Statmiller or somebody else. And so your big names draw all the crowd away from us smaller guys that have a good topic and good education, but nevertheless, your stars take the spotlight off of us. I've got about 4 or 5 expos scheduled for the next 3 or 4 months. There's, as you said, there's a lot of other people. There's a big gun show dealer that just jumped into the bandwagon, and they're starting to do a bunch of proper shows around the Midwest. But I think there's going to be more of it. There's no speakers that I'm here and a lot of them don't have speakers.
Yep, and that's why people come to the Get Prepared Expo, because not only can they buy the things they need, but they can meet the celebrities. We have more celebrities, doctors, instructors than any other preparedness expo by far. Craig Douglas, thanks so much for being with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Get Prepared Expo. And class, if you'd like to have dinner with Craig Douglas or lunch, you can. 2 dinners, 1 lunch at the Get Prepared Expo. And you can buy freeze-dried food at the lowest price in the country at the Get Prepared Expo. Craig, thanks so much.
Thank you, Vincent.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivalmatch.com. That's freesurvivalmatch.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivalmatch.com today.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special. Infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins, and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor. And you know, for those of you who are new to the class, there are about 200 of us here at USAPrepares.com, and we're experts in various areas. We're innovators, and we're medical doctors and physicists, dentists, engineers, surgeons, CEOs, broadcasters, farmers, inventors, and we're even students rising to become instructors. Well, your newest instructor is just like the rest of us, unable to hold a job because, you know, we're independent thinkers. We just don't take direction very well. Well, your newest instructor is Ray LaRue. He's been to the Get Prepared Expo. He's given presentations, and he's exhibited with some very interesting technology. And we're going to talk about building that castle of yours, safe, strong, with concrete and foam insulation. Welcome, Ray LaRue.
Good morning, Vincent. How are you this morning?
I am well. Ray, now you're the CEO of Al and Sons, and I'm gonna kind of spell it because for the first time you hear this, it's a little it's hard to figure it out. It's Al, A-N-D-S-O-N-S. Al and Sons, and you're the CEO of this organization.
Yes, sir.
And it's a supply house, and you're in the Springfield, Missouri community, and you are instructing people, teaching people, and building homes and commercial structures and safe rooms and all kinds of structures out of these blocks. Yep. And when you see this, it looks like, well, large Legos. Is that a fair description of what these are? It looks like large Legos that you just place together, and you run your plumbing, you run your electrical conduit, you run whatever you need to inside these blocks, and then you fill them with concrete. And you have insulation on the outside and insulation on the inside. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And we actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. We had a couple of our competitors during some of our home shows that we participate in. They actually painted their blocks red and yellow and blue and green, and just to symbolize that very thing.
Yes. And, you at your exhibit at the expo in the past, you've just built a wall, and you show people how you can just stack these and fill them with concrete. So there is a possibility, class, that, let me step back. Let's say you come to the expo and you say, you know what, Missouri's kind of a neat place, because we have people that come from 43 states, or at least the last one we did. Mm-hmm. 43 states were in attendance at the Get Prepared Expo. And some people live in cities, some people live in the suburbs, and they go, wow, I could buy a farm. I could buy 40 acres. I could buy 100 acres. I could buy 80 acres. As a matter of fact, I know of a place that's for sale, $135,000 with a trailer on it, like a long mobile home, a well, and electricity, $135,000 for 80 acres, 80 acres. Wow. And the cool thing about that, and it's surrounded by woods. It's near me, and you could live in this trailer that's already there, and then you could call Ray and say, Ray, I'm interested in building a very strong home. I'd like one that can take an EF4 or an EF5, 250 mile an hour winds, and I want to be safe, and I want to make sure that this thing doesn't blow down. Well, you could do that. You could work with Ray. You could have a contractor come in, or you get your own contractor to pour a footing, and then you could stack these blocks, fill them with concrete, or have Ray's team do it for you. Then you have a building that is monolithic. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. We get a lot of people from the coast. They'll come in, and land here is extremely cheap compared to what it is, say, in California or Maryland or Virginia or Florida. And yet we're a good solar community, we're a good wind community, we're a good farming community. All of that's here. We have, it's the land of 1,000 lakes, so we have a lot of running water here. And you can come, like you said, to pick up 80 acres for $130,000, $140,000, and then you've got your own self-sustained plantation there, and that's very appealing to a lot of people.
So Ray, let's talk about these blocks. Can you describe them to our broadcast radio classroom so they understand what these really are? How long are they? How tall are they? How heavy are they? And what's involved in starting construction? Let's build that. I'll tell you what, instead of a cabin, let's build a dream home, but not really, really fancy. We'll take whatever money we would put into fancy and make it into strong and durable. How do we do this?
Absolutely, and we can start with a little history, too. ICF is Insulated Concrete Forms, is what that acronym stands for. It's not new. It was actually invented in Europe in the 1940s. And so it came into our commercial building in the 70s and in residential building in the 80s. So this is not something that just came out last week that you're the new kid on the block trying something new. But what we end up doing is taking a house plan, whether you find one online, and we tweak it a little bit to the dimensions of the blocks. But if you picture a standard concrete cinder block and then just replace all that with foam. So you've got 2.5 inches or 2 5/8 inches of foam on the outside. You've got 2.5 inches or 2 5/8 inches of foam on the inside, and we can build those out if your circumstances require thicker foam. And there's plastic ties that tie those two pieces together. And where those ties are held, that's where the concrete goes. And we can do anything from 4 inches to 6 inches, all the way up to 8, 10, and 12, and then we can go custom from there. So you're absolutely right. They stack together just like construction blocks or Lego blocks, overlapping the seams and that kind of thing. And you just you pour your footing first, build your walls, put the roof on, and of course the walls are now filled with concrete. So.
Okay, so Ray, let's talk about the amount of concrete. Mm-hmm. So for example, let's say we wanted to have, thinner concrete. We want to save money on concrete. Can we use like 6 inches of concrete? Can we use 8 inches of concrete? Can we use 10, 12? What are our options?
Absolutely, and we've actually got those 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 are what is stock as far as concrete cores go. The thing to note about ICF is that these forms are what they say. They are insulated concrete forms. So when you dump concrete in there, it's a slower cure. So it actually cures out harder, about 50% harder than the concrete mix that you pour into it. So if you're building a structure and you call your concrete company and you say, what kind of mix do you want? Well, I want a 4,000-pound mix. Well, in ICF, that actually cures out at over 6,000 pounds in 5 years. So instead of in conventional construction where you would use a 10-inch or a 12-inch concrete wall that's exposed, in ICF you could do an 8-inch wall and maintain a stronger structure than the 10 or 12 conventional. So that makes a huge difference and cuts the cost of concrete down.
Ray, I've got to tell you, if I knew about this technology, had I learned about it before we built our farmhouse, I would have used it. I really would have. And class, what our farmhouse is, we built 12-inch thick walls in the basement. It's all monolithic. It's just one pour of 12-inch thick concrete, which is way thicker than typically done. Typically
Absolutely.
8 inches.
50% thicker than usually is done here.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we built a partition wall out of wood framing with 6 inches of stone, mortared stone. And so we have the walls of our farmhouse are 12 inches thick. But I was talking to Ray about the insulation quality of his design versus what we did years ago, and his is better. Mm-hmm. What I'd really like to have done was build with ICF blocks for the basement and the above ground walls, and put stone on top of that. I mean, that would be the ideal for me.
Yeah, that wouldn't go anywhere. Absolutely.
And you know,
couldn't get through that.
Class, you know, I've mentioned our heating bills. You know, sometimes our heating bills are $84. Typically, they're around $100. That's for electricity. And, you know, we have lights here. We have all the conveniences that you would expect. We have multiple refrigerators. We have a freezer. We have computers running all the time. We broadcast with them. So it's not like we're living in the dark. And we still are able to do it because of the efficiency of our structure. And what I've learned by, you know, through the years of talking to Ray LaRue, you can do it. You can do some of this yourself if you want. You can do most of it yourself if you want. You can do all of it yourself if you want, or you can hire it done. And what you end up with, Ray, let's talk about the after it's built, the savings that you enjoy because of the insulation qualities.
Sure. That's probably one of the most common questions we get is what is the cost of ICF construction versus, you know, typical stick frame? And so that's something that we always are up against because we want people to get a better structure, but we don't want them to have to spend more for it. And your house, for instance, we were speaking about that yesterday, and it would have actually been cheaper to do that ICF than it would have been the way you did, but you built, you know, to the top notch of wood construction. And that's just up front. I've even taken the cost well over 10% more just for research purposes. And the monthly payments are still cheaper, and that's kind of what we're talking about now. Your utility bill is cut in half generally, if not more, anywhere from 50 to 75%. And then the homeowner's insurance is also cut down because now you're not talking about a stick home. You're talking about a solid concrete home, even though it looks just like the neighbor's house. It's still solid concrete, and so we've seen up to 43% deductions off of homeowner's insurance. And those, you know, your insurance and your utility costs, those things never go away. They continue to stay there, and most of the time they continue to go up. However, your mortgage, you know, that you pay every month on your home, that eventually is supposed to go away. Whether you do a 15-year or a 30-year mortgage, that disappears eventually. But it's those other costs that maintain, and that's where the savings in ICF comes in.
You know, I was talking with an insurance guy. Came out to the farm, and I said, "Why is our farm owners policy keep going up and up and up and up?" He said, and it's way up. I mean, it's over double what it was a few years ago.
Sure.
And he said, "Well, Joplin, You know, they had a tornado in Joplin. I said, oh. Do I live in Joplin?
Exactly.
He said, no, but we have customers who are insured and live in Joplin. So you get the benefit of paying for the disaster over there.
Yeah,
because, and that's my fault. Boy, you know, some things really aggravate me, and that's one of them. We'll be right back. Ray LaRue. We have a special seminar for you on Friday, March 27th at the Get Prepared Expo from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Spend the day with USA Prepare's senior instructors, Matt Stein and Dr. Richard Allen Miller. There you'll learn about the 3 major game over events and their likelihood, and most importantly, what to do about them. Events so powerful that they can end life as we know it. Yes, they're real, and our senior instructors will guide you to safety. This seminar is limited to the first 100 who purchase tickets on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Your tuition for this special seminar is $85. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. This is an in-depth all-day seminar, and you're encouraged to take notes. Note-taking materials are provided. Food and beverages are available all day at the Get Prepared Expo, Lebanon, Missouri. GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates. 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
Class, we're talking about building that ultimate strong structure, one that can resist hurricanes, tornadoes, one that's really, really tough, one that will sustain 250-mile-an-hour winds. And Ray LaRue is with us, and he is the CEO of Al & Sons, Al-A-N-D-S-O-N-S, A-L-A-N-D-S-O-N-S. Link on the website, page 1. So if you want to go to usaprepares.com and find out what we're talking about, the link is on page 1. Also on the instructors tab at usaprepares.com, also the exhibitors tab. And you can meet Ray at the Get Prepared Expo. You can have a meal with him, and you can attend his seminars and see his exhibits. Ray, privacy. Let's say that farm across the road from me, someone wants to buy it and build privately in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
How can that be done?
Absolutely. We help people from every step. So we have homeowners, architects, engineers, builders, contractors, whatever. And we have a lot of people that want to build discreetly. And so what we do is I have a select group of contractors that they understand their process. And they understand the need for discretion. And most of them either do the work themselves or they have a crew of 1 or 2 instead of the 10 or 12 that they got from the local agency or whatever. And what we do is we take the plans and we go in and they have these select contractors that go in and they take care of the project for the homeowner. And we go as far as they want us to. And most of the time that's to a dried-in situation. We have the walls up, the roof on, the windows and doors in, and then we just walk away and we let them finish their home the way they wish. So we've kind of got all that in place. We do a lot of panic rooms. We do a lot of safe rooms. We do a lot of gun rooms and shooting rooms, all of which things don't want everybody knowing where they are. And so we are prepared for that and have done several of those in the past, and none of them you can find.
So your guys don't talk?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, we do very professional builders and contractors, and we have a very distinct understanding with those we work with in special cases like that.
Have you ever shot at one of your buildings?
Absolutely. We took some forms up to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and because they wanted to test them as well, and we just put sand in them. They didn't want them permanently sitting there, so they wouldn't allow us to put concrete in them, but we put sand in them in 6 inches of the 6-inch form, and we shot them with everything that they had, from service revolvers to handguns to rifles. 30-06 at 50 yards went 2/3 of the way through the sand. Didn't even make it through the other side of the wall. And that was, again, with sand. And, of course, when you're building with these, you're filling them full of concrete. So unless they pull up in a tank, you're fine as long as you don't stick your head out the window and see what's going on.
I was doing a broadcast with James Wesley Rawles, and he also did a similar discussion at the expo with me, kind of like a radio show, but on stage. James Wesley Rawles is the guru of survival, in my opinion. And he mentioned, he said, Vinny, you can take a hollow core door, like a steel door, and you can drill it out at the top, and you can fill it with pea gravel, and it will stop a handgun round. Just filling a door with pea gravel. So there you go. So if you want to know how to put the doors on your ICF home, that's an option. You'd want to have longer screws in the hinges, but that can be done very, very inexpensively. And the reason pea gravel is used rather than sand in this case is because once the holes start going in the door, you don't want the sand to run out. So pea gravel is the choice in that case.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Another thing to keep in mind too, when preparing first came out, everybody was using cinder blocks, concrete blocks. And those blocks are only made out of 2,000-pound concrete, and it's very lightweight. Even though they seem to us heavy, it's pretty lightweight. But unless those are filled every cell with concrete, which is just ends up being basically a tube of concrete, I'm a shooter myself, and so we've taken different blocks and classes and that kind of thing. And you can take a concrete block apart with a 9mm very quickly in about 3 shots. So
yeah.
It's not,
You're talking about
something that we're dealing with the ICF, because we're talking about 6 or 8 inches of monolithic reinforced concrete.
And when you talk about reinforced concrete, Ray, we're talking about adding rebar, this reinforced concrete rod, the rods made out of steel that are the reinforcing material for the concrete. And let's talk a little bit about rebar and how it's used in the construction of these ICF homes and buildings. We'll be right back. Ray LaRue, Allen Sons. So just who will you meet at the Get Prepared Expo? For starters, John Moore, John Stadtmiller, Sam Bushman, Kurt Crosby, Aaron Dakins, Brad Dakins, and me, Vincent Finelli. Joining us, just to name a few, are the senior instructors: medical doctor Norman Shealy, engineer Matt Stein, the real Fox Mulder of the X-Files, physicist Dr. Richard Allen Miller, author Captain John Regan, counter-terrorist Mike Ma, author Rich Sheben, and the CSPOA founder, Sheriff Richard Mack. You'll learn how water wells work, how to buy gold and silver quietly, discreetly, and privately. Learn the importance of good health and how to care for your loved ones. Learn alternative medicines, overcoming anxiety, stress, high blood pressure, and alternative cancer treatments. You'll have access to more doctors, more authors, more talk show hosts than any event we know of. The Get Prepared Expo, the last weekend in March, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. GetPreparedExpo.com. That's GetPreparedExpo.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take longevity beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Class, we're talking about building with ICF and insulated concrete forms. And, you know, there are many people who have these panic rooms in their homes. And what they do is they'll take like a bathroom and they'll put a steel door, an exterior steel door in the bathroom. They'll put 2 locks on it. You know, they'll have a deadbolt type lock and a regular entry lock with a key. And they'll feel comfortable knowing that if someone breaks into the house, you know, they can go run into that bathroom and lock the steel door with both locks, and they're pretty good. Some have done the same thing with closets. Well, do you know that most of those rooms are 2x4 stud walls with sheetrock on both sides, 1/2-inch sheetrock? A 22 long rifle will penetrate both sides of that sheetrock. Not only that, I just posted on the website, if you'd like to take a look, a .45 handgun. That'll penetrate both sides. 9mm, both sides. .38 special, both sides. 12-gauge shotgun with double-aught buck in it, both sides. 12-gauge shotgun with birdshot in it, both sides. And of course, you know, the rifles, the 223s, the 5.56s, the 30-06s, the 30-30s, the 308s. Oh, those will certainly go through multiple layers. So for your perusal on the website, we've got this post that will show you the holes in the sheetrock. So you might want to consider, if you live in the city and if you decide that, well, you're going to just stay put, you might want to consider hauling in some of these ICF forms and building a real panic room or a real safe room or a real tornado shelter in your basement. You might want to do that. And you can do that. Let's talk about the reinforcing of the concrete. Ray, Tell us about rebar and how that's used, please.
Sure. We've been around the block a couple times. We've been around since 1987. So we've seen hundreds of thousands of structures go up, in the last 30 years and had the privilege of being involved in a few of those. But normally, no-grade rebar is what they use typically in floors, and a lot of times they just transfer that right into the walls, it's got a high carbon content. So if you bend it, it's actually more brittle. It'll snap on you if you try to bend it in a 90-degree angle kind of thing in a lot of cases. Grade 40 is like the next step up, and basically that means it's 40,000 pounds of tensile strength to break that rebar. And if you're doing a lot of bending, highway construction, that kind of stuff, they do a lot of bends and curves, and so that's what they have to get so that it's not so brittle. We go the next step up and use a 60,000 pound tensile strength rebar, still the same number 4 half-inch, 20-foot sticks that everybody else uses. We just move it up to that 60. And of course, when we're talking about moving up, everybody's like, oh boy, what are we going to do with price? No grade to grade 40 is 25 cents a stick, a 20-foot stick difference. And grade 60 and grade 40 are usually the same price. So it's just knowing what you're getting rather than just going in blindly and purchasing rebar. And that's what we use. And in the ICF, we usually end up with an 18 by 18 grid, which is far more than what conventional construction uses.
Ray, I really appreciate you teaching us about this. And I know there's some people in the cities who are listening, and I know there are people actually all over the world who are listening to this and are thinking, this sounds really kind of neat, because I can start, if I'm not going to move, I can start with making my home safer. I know a family in Virginia that built a house out of brick. Traditional construction, but real brick on the outside. I'm not talking about the kind that's, they call them lick 'em and stick 'em around here, which is, maybe a half-inch thickness of brick that's kind of stuck on the side of something. No, they're talking about a real brick house. And inside the house, the man who built the house, for his own protection, built a room inside that was a concrete walled bedroom. So he can sleep at night, and if there's shots fired and they come through the window or if they penetrate the brick, he still has another 8 inches of concrete. Well, what he used was concrete blocks filled with concrete. And that's his bedroom.
Sure.
And then there's a wall in front of that. So if you try to shoot through the door to his bedroom, well, you still can't, because there's no angle where a bullet will penetrate directly fired into his bedroom from any angle.
Right.
So some people are thinking about this, and this man thought about this over a decade ago. Are you seeing that kind of thought process in your customers' minds?
Sure, absolutely. We do theater rooms that, downstairs in the basement or upstairs, that they want some sound attenuation in. But we do the same thing in master bedrooms, where, like you're talking about, where they want the protection. Well, now they've got, insulated concrete all the way around their bedroom and then the exterior of their house as well. So that's certainly not going to go anywhere. We do a lot of master closets. We do a lot of panic rooms with master closets on top of them. A lot of things like that where people can get for safety and security and to store their valuables or weapons or whatever they need to do to keep peace of mind and be able to sleep well at night.
I have a friend who built a home in Virginia, and he was really proud of it. And he took me into his gun room in the basement. And what he did was, when he excavated, he made plans for a concrete wall around his gun room. And he had a safe door, meaning like a vault type door, really strong, 1/4 of an inch thick, at least, steel plate on this door. Door weighed, I don't know, over 1,000 pounds easily. And it was bolted in, and this was in the basement. So all 4 walls were concrete and really strong structure. And I looked up, and I was standing in this room, and I looked up and I could see the floor joists. I'm thinking, all it takes is a Sawzall, to saw through the floor above, the hardwood floor above and the subfloor, and I'm in. I mean, it's really easy. My saw, I've got just a DeWalt Sawzall. I've got a Porter cabled Sawzall. It's really easy just to put a hole in there. Now, have you helped people think through that problem and say, you know what, with a little bit of steel and a little bit of reinforcing, we can actually put a concrete lid on this room?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we do that all the time. We've actually have another line of products that is a concrete floor system. And so we end up putting rooms under a garage where you can still park on top, and then you've got your panic room or safe room or theater room, whatever you're doing, down below. And it's solid concrete up top, and it's insulated as well. And those spans on the forms that we use, they can actually go up to 35 feet of free span, which is huge when you're talking about, putting concrete in a couple, family cars up there.
Absolutely. You're talking about a bridge.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Ray, this is really neat, this discussion, because I'm thinking about what some of our class is thinking. And I'll bet you that there are many people who are saying, I've got to meet this guy at the expo. And I'm thinking that, wouldn't it be fun to be at Ray's table for the banquet meal where they can sit with you and talk for a couple hours about their project, because they can talk to the expert and get those answers. So, class, I believe that you're going to have that opportunity. If Ray's, and I don't know your schedule, Ray, but setup day is Friday at the Get Prepared Expo. People can see you right after setup. Saturday is the expo, and Saturday at 6 o'clock we have our banquet dinner, and Sunday we have a banquet lunch. So are you going to be available for people to sit down and have that banquet meal and talk about their building project and ICF?
Absolutely. And we can, bring your house plans. We'll look over them. They don't have to be a half-inch thick of, architect's plans. We've done houses from, a stick drawing on a napkin. It doesn't matter to me. But we can look at those and consult on them in just a little bit. I always have extra forms at the booth as well, so that we live in the show me state. So, people want to feel it and touch it and see how it goes. So if you want to snap some together and see how you can build with them and how they work, and we have all that available there.
So, class, seriously, bring your plans. And I have seen house plans on napkins. They're not complete plans, but, for simple houses, I've seen the drawings on plans. I've drawn plans on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, talked to a builder about it and say, okay, what is this going to cost per square foot with this kind of a structure? And I believe Ray's going to be able to give you some estimates based on what you want. The fancier, the more it costs. The more, but I would suggest you consider doing what we did here at the farm. And that is not put your money into the show stuff, the fancy brass, chandeliers, the car wash for the bathroom so that, you can have 30 people in the shower at the same time. Forget all that.
Right.
Put your money into structure. Put your money into strength, because it's costing more and more and more to build structures today, and you want one that will last generations, literally generations. That's kind of what's happened in Europe. They've lasted generations, and we've gotten away from that. We've gotten into building homes with 24-inch centered studs. Forget it. Build quality, and it'll last for years and years and years, and you can enjoy the savings. Imagine when the mortgage goes away and you're enjoying the savings of a less expensive house to heat and cool. That's what we're talking about. So, Ray, what typically, if we were to go dollar for dollar against 2x4, sure. No, let's make it fair. 2x6 construction, dollar for dollar, stick built, wood siding, let's say, lapboard siding, versus your construction with ICF. What's the difference?
If you're going to do anything greater than cellulose, if you're going to do cellulose or foam insulation in that 2x6 home, I can build one right next door to you out of ICF that for the same price. Mine will still be there in 200 years. Yours are going to fall down in less than 100. And my utility bills, my homeowner's insurance is cheaper, and I'll still be there when the tornado comes through.
There you go. So, dollar for dollar, we're talking now, and you talked about similar insulation. You talked about spray foam, closed cell, which is the most expensive of the cell insulations. And that's what you're talking about, dollar for dollar against your structure?
Yeah, open cell, closed cell, or just blown in cellulose. Just a step up from fiberglass. Either way, it's the same. It comes out about the same price.
And I got to tell you, my experience is foam insulation closed cell blows the doors off the other types of insulation, like fiberglass. It really does. Ray, we're going into a commercial break. We're going to come back and I'm going to talk more about building with ICF. Ray LaRue, Al & Sons Incorporated. Link on the website. What's so special about the Get Prepared Expo? Imagine having the opportunity to learn from some of the best preparedness and survival instructors available today. The faculty of USAPrepares.com. Imagine meeting your radio instructors all in one place. The last weekend in March. Imagine having lunch or dinner at a table with your instructors. And the cost? $10.80. Imagine having your favorite instructors autographing and personalizing your new books. Imagine buying Berkey water filters at deep discounts, the lowest price in the country. Imagine buying freeze-dried, long-term storage food at the lowest price in the country. You don't have to imagine. This is real. It's at the Get Prepared Expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo there is, March 27, 28, and 29 in Lebanon, Missouri. One-day tickets are $8 on the website, getpreparedexpo.com. Getpreparedexpo.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Class, we're talking with Ray LaRue about ICF buildings, and you can meet Ray LaRue at the Get Prepared Expo and talk with him. Bring your plans. Ray, I just got a text message with a picture, and Dave in the Thumb of Michigan sent me this picture of a smart meter that has caught on fire. Now, this particular meter was on a power pole. So fortunately, when it caught on fire and it burned up, literally crispy critters, okay? This meter burned up. Now, most people have their electric meters on the side of their homes. Some have homes made out of wood siding, cedar siding, vinyl siding, all kinds of different combustible materials.
Sure.
let's talk about very, very quickly. We only have a couple minutes left. Is there an advantage to your type of building with this type of event, a smart electric meter on the side of a building burning up?
Absolutely. The thing to note about wood construction is your fire rating is about 20 minutes typically. ICF construction has a fire rating of 3.5 hours. So it's just like a storm situation. It can get to the roof, and it can burn the roof up if you did a stick frame roof kind of situation. But overall, the walls are 3.5 hours. So even if it does take the roof, you've just got that part to redo. You don't have to tear down and redo the whole house.
Okay. And Ray, can you contrast those who come? Well, you've been to the Get Prepared Expo multiple times. Mm-hmm. Can you contrast who comes to the Get Prepared Expo with other conventions that you exhibit in? What is the difference between us and them? And the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to let our listeners know who comes to the expo and why. And maybe they are some who should attend the Get Prepared Expo. What's the difference between us and the other conventions?
No, really, that's a great question, Vincent, because it's true. We do a lot of home shows with different HBAs and that kind of thing, and then we do the Get Prepared Expo. And those that go to a typical home show are the guys that want to skimp where it matters the most on the construction of the home, but they want the pretty stuff on the inside. They want to know what's been imported from Italy or what newfangled thing has come out that doesn't add anything to the quality of life. It just looks pretty. And it seems like those that come to the Get Prepared Expo are that. They're preparing. And whether that be preparing for Armageddon or preparing for life in general, that's what it is. So looking more for longevity, what's going to help myself, my family, my finances, my life in general, what's going to make that better, not just lipstick on a pig, so to speak.
I love it. Now, what about mistakes? How can we, if I'm going to build something and I meet you, are you going to help me avoid making mistakes?
Absolutely, and we'll start saving you money from the get-go. And what we end up doing is we, with a couple, we have a three-part conversation. One with me, one with the couple, and then the other one with their pocketbook. And so we sit down with all three of us, and we're like, okay, what's the best for our situation financially and for our family? And there are times when you need an architect to draw your plans. There are other times where we can have a draftsman draw the plans up and avoid the architect fees of $10,000 or whatever it costs for house plans. And it can be the same for engineering. Sometimes we encourage people to get engineering. Other times we can show you how to avoid those costs.
Okay. And how about, it sounds like a commercial, but it's not. Right. We want you to learn about what you're doing and make the right choices. What about people who have used your system, have been your customers? Have any regretted their decision to build with ICF? Has anyone said, you know what, I really made a mistake. I would have rather done it a different way. Has that happened?
We've had ICF now, the Nudura especially, for 11 years. And I've never had anybody come back and say, I wish I hadn't done that. Most of them come back and say, well, we're upsizing or downsizing and we want to do this again. The biggest regret people have with ICF is the fact that they skimped on one part. I didn't put in the storm room, or I didn't do my garage. I didn't do that bonus room upstairs, and I really should have.
So you're saying that if they made any mistakes at all is not doing enough with ICF, rather than they would have rather used a different construction technique.
Right. Now it really sounds like a commercial, but yeah, I didn't use it enough.
Yeah, well, no, I'm being very serious about that.
Absolutely.
I really am.
Yep.
Okay, class, there you have it. You're going to get a chance to meet Ray LaRue in person at the Get Prepared Expo. You can have a dinner with him. You can bring your plans. He'll review them. No charge. He'll review your plans and help you make that structure work better, more efficiently, and he won't charge you for it. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Thanks so much, Ray LaRue, Allen Sons Incorporated.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special, infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.